So we're finally getting around to speaking about the UFC 267 co-main event, that scintillating showdown between Petr Yan and Corey Sandhagen. And let me just say straight off the bat that this was my type of fight. I knew coming in that we were looking at two of the finest technicians in the sport, and with that being the case, there was very little chance in my mind of it being a dud. But man, did these two engage in the exact type of showdown I was looking for. I was literally watching this fight at maybe 4 in the morning, sitting down, bobbing and weaving my head to get a better angle of view on the TV. That's how into it I was from the opening bell. They just stood in front of each other, moving all the while, hand fighting, exchanging at a high volume, and in my mind it was nothing short of glorious. Because just like this was my type of fight, Petr Yan once again did a good job at proving why he is my type of fighter. That slow cooker approach, how he constantly ups his tempo, increases his variety of attacks as he downloads data on his opponent. And when you're in there with someone as creative and dynamic as Corey Sandhagen, it really does take a level of genius to make these reads count so consistently. And anyone who watches this channel regularly will know that Sandhagen has also been a favorite of mine for years. And coming into this bout, given that I scored the Dillashaw fight in his favor, albeit narrowly, and the fact that Yan was clearly still the undisputed champion in most people's eyes, this genuinely was as close to a legitimate 135-pound championship bout as we're going to get for some time. I did think that Corey had a good chance to score the win initially, but as round 2 came to its close, it dawned on me that we were watching a Petr Yan fight, that he was becoming more and more comfortable in there, content in the knowledge that Sandhagen's box of tricks was becoming less and less of an issue for him. This fight was the story of Yan's immense grasp on fundamentals winning it out. But on top of that, his fight IQ, watching that in motion, was just truly a joy to behold. Because that's how Petr does his best work. He slowly warms into the matchup and takes control in a way that has that feel of an old school champion, a Jose Aldo, a George St. Pierre, how he eventually masters and tames the bout's rhythm enough to present his adversaries with an unclimbable mountain, a gulf in skill and composure that comes into play once the fight gets into its middle rounds. And what I saw from Yan over the course of this interim title fight leads me to believe that he is more than capable of ruling the best division in the UFC for quite some time. Bantamweight right now is a real shark tank, filled with a mix of remarkably fresh veterans, top-tier prospects, and a wide range of styles that can only really be matched by featherweight. 135 pounds has really blossomed in recent times, and though it's in a truly odd position due to the numerous names who could call themselves champion, I do believe that Petr Yan will be the man to emerge from this mess of contenders with the belt around his waist. On a side note, if you're enjoying this content, be sure to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all of our latest uploads, before leaving a comment to let YouTube's algorithms know that we are fast becoming one of the best MMA channels on the platform. Seriously, I don't think there's ever been a situation in the UFC where 4 different fighters can, even at a stretch, call themselves the champion. Obviously, Aljamain Sterling is technically the man with the belt around his waist, but most would agree that Yan is the guy who actually owns it. TJ Dillashaw never lost his title, although that in itself is a messy story. And finally, Henry Cejudo also retired after a successful defense of that title. And even at this point in time, I would not be surprised to see him inject his name back into the mix if he doesn't pull off a move to featherweight. I really don't think that we've seen the last of him. But what I learned for sure from the UFC 267 co-main event is that, at least in my own predictions, I would certainly be backing Yan to beat all 3 of the other names that I just mentioned, with Cejudo likely serving as the most difficult challenge of the lot. Yan has doubled down on his status as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the game, and the most terrifying thing of all is that he's still only 28 years old. His mind is sharp, he's got incredible endurance, excellent stamina, some of the slickest and most dangerous hands in the game, a kicking arsenal that is no joke, and he's fast, he's powerful, explosive, with a superb knowledge of distance, footwork, and overall defensive savvy. I don't know what it's going to take to break this guy, to be honest. Perhaps when the likes of Merab Dvalishvili ascend, then we'll get a new look at the top of the division, but for now, looking at his contemporaries, Petr Yan is on another level of great in a division that has many fighters with greatness in their potential. I loved everything about that win. The ferocity that he allowed himself to show in spots, the constant forward pressure, the lack of respect as the fight went on for Sandhagen's odd movement and constant feints. Yan, as he always does, fought his own fight in there, gradually dragging Corey along for the ride. And yeah, it's going to take one hell of an effort from the rest of the roster to bring a match matchup this year that hits a higher level in terms of the game of chess that we were just gifted with. This was Volkanovski-Holloway 2 levels of good. And while I can certainly envisage a future in which Sandhagen learns, improves, and finds his way back into contention, for now, the story of this fight is that there is only one true undisputed king of the Bantamweight division, and his name is Petr Yan. Sorry, I had to sneak that dig in there. Sterling does get a lot of stick from the fans, and it's understandable to some degree, but I don't subscribe to the idea that this makes him any less of a fighter, any less of an elite talent. MMA fans love burying a fighter's ability based on something that has nothing to do with fighting, and I think that looking ahead, it's important to note that Aljo will still pose quite a challenge to Yan, and if Petr can get the job done again, it should be considered another huge win on his resume. The constant slagging of Sterling is all good fun, but he's still a top 3 guy in arguably the best division in the sport, and I'm certainly interested to see what adjustments he makes coming into his inevitable title unification bout with this Russian sensation. But what did you make of this high-level showcase at 135 pounds? And who do you think poses the greatest threat to Petr Yan within the bantamweight ranks at this point in time? Do let us know your opinions in the comments section below. We always love to hear from you guys. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and a comment before subscribing to the channel so you can stay up to date with all of our latest uploads. Thanks for watching.